Los Angeles was quiet in the early morning. The sky slowly lit up with the first rays of light, offering that peaceful moment before the city's usual noise took over. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was getting ready to head to the gym as part of his daily routine. Like every morning, he wanted to start the day early, preparing himself both mentally and physically. He maintained his disciplined workout schedule because he knew the importance of keeping his mind as strong as his body. Before leaving, he took a moment to be alone with his thoughts. Despite once being one of Hollywood's biggest stars, he still considered himself a work in progress. Mental growth had always meant a lot to him. That day, when he stepped into the gym, he noticed something different. Jack Miller, a young man struggling to lift weights on his own in the corner of the gym, caught Dwayne's eye. Jack wasn't just struggling with his body. Dwayne could feel that his spirit was lost too. Dwayne slowed his steps and walked over to Jack. The young man was still straining, trying to lift weights but making little progress. His eyes were tired and his body looked fragile. Dwayne noticed the defeated look in Jack's eyes and gently approached him.
"Hey kid, I see you're putting in a lot of effort, but you don't need to push this hard. What's your goal? Where are you trying to go with all this?"
I want to be strong, but I can't seem to get there. My body doesn't feel right. No matter how much I try, it's like I'm always missing something. I'm exhausted and feel lost, like I'm disappearing into everything around me.
Sometimes physical strength just isn't enough, Jack. True strength comes from mental resilience. While you're working on your body, you've got to keep your mind and spirit strong too. I can help you with that. Want to work together?
Help? Really? I don't know, but maybe I should give it a shot.
Dwayne nodded, offering Jack some encouragement. It didn't take long for him to see the potential in this young man. Helping him unlock that potential would not only be a step forward for Jack, but also a step further in Dwayne's own personal journey.
Your body will always hit limits, but in your mind, there's no ceiling. At the end of every set, you've got to win in your mind, because the real winner is the one who's mentally strong, not just physically.
With each passing day, Jack's body became more resilient, but even more importantly, his mental strength grew. Dwayne's repeated lessons on the importance of mind-body harmony were starting to take root. Jack was finding more courage every day. With each exercise, he was becoming stronger both physically and mentally. Jack said,
"This feels so different. I'm pushing my body, but the more I trust my mind, the stronger I feel. Being able to control my thoughts gives me power. I never realized that before."
I totally get it. Real strength is within us. Your power isn't just in your muscles, it's in your thoughts and emotions too. Now, you're feeling it. This is just the beginning, Jack.
Over time, Jack's mental strength began to outshine his physical power. With each moment in the gym, when he pushed his body past its limits, his mind grew stronger. Under Dwayne's guidance, Jack was achieving his greatest victory, rediscovering himself.
I'm not competing with my body anymore. I used to focus on pushing physical boundaries, but now, as strong as my body is, my mind is even stronger.
I remember telling you that. Mental resilience is the foundation of everything. While you're pushing your body, you've also got to find the power inside yourself. Now, it's all in your hands.
One morning, Jack stood in the corner of the gym, deep in thought. He was considering entering a race, but it wasn't just a physical challenge, it was going to be a massive test of both body and mind. But Jack was afraid. He'd lost so much in the past: trauma, failures, disappointments, and this race felt too big. Still, with Dwayne's constant encouragement and belief in him, Jack found the courage to take the leap.
This race, it's really big. Am I ready? I've lost everything before. Do you think I can win?
Jack, winners don't start by saying, "I'm ready." But you've already done the work. This race is just another step for you. What matters most is how much you believe in yourself.
On the day of the race, there was no fear in Jack's eyes, only determination. His mental strength was driving him now. The fatigue of the past had become nothing more than a distant reminder. As Jack began the race, he didn't just feel like an athlete, he felt mentally strong too. Each step made him stronger. At the end of the race, Jack didn't win, but something more important had happened. He had found his confidence. The real victory was in looking back at where he started. And in this journey, Jack had won the greatest victory of all. He had faced himself and found his inner light, even in his darkest moments. Dwayne said,
"You did great, Jack. You didn't win, but you found yourself. That's the real victory."
From now on, everything's going to be different. I can now guide not just my body, but my mind too. Who knows what's next for me?
Jack had gained more than just physical strength. He had discovered an inner strength. He had overcome his mental barriers. Now he could see his future more clearly with each passing day. Dwayne had not just been a coach, but a friend. Their journey together had added deep meaning to both of their lives.
I get it now. Every day I walk my own path. True success has always been within me. I needed some help to find it, but now I have.
And then he remembered what Dwayne had said.
True victory begins with knowing yourself, and now you know who you really are.
Every great transformation begins with one step. Jack changed his life and found his inner strength. True success is not about external rewards. It is about your inner journey. Jack has completed the most important journey of his life. What he won was not just a race, it was self-discovery. With Dwayne's guidance, he worked not only on his body, but also on his soul. When Jack crossed the finish line, he had not won the race, but he felt it inside. True victory was not just physical, it was mental and emotional. Jack was no longer focused solely on himself. He was determined to help others. This journey wasn't just about physical change, it was about emotional and mental growth. Jack felt a mixture of exhaustion and excitement as he crossed the finish line. The cheers of the crowd still echoed in his ears, but they didn't sound the same. He didn't need their applause anymore. The real victory wasn't in the race, it was in what he had discovered about himself. For the first time, he felt at peace with who he was. He paused for a moment, his eyes closed, breathing deeply. His body ached, his muscles ached, but his mind was sharper than ever. It was as if the race had stripped away years of doubt and fear. He had been searching for validation for so long, and now he realized it wasn't the finish line or the cheers that he needed. It was his own validation. It was his own belief in himself. Jack opened his eyes, thanks to Dwayne, and looked at the faces in the crowd. They were cheering, but in his heart, he knew that the only idea that mattered right now was his own. Race didn't define him, it defined him. Jack stared into the distance. The light on the horizon reflected all the possibilities the future would bring. A thought kept turning in his mind. What would the future bring? He had searched for the answer to this question for years, but now he had finally found his own path. Everything had taken shape as a result of a moment, a decision, a step. In the years before, he had shaped his life according to the expectations of others, but now everything was different. He had been freed from the burdens of the past, old fears and uncertainties. The future, which had once seemed dark and uncertain, was now clear and bright, because he had discovered the power within himself. Although the journey was difficult, he felt himself growing stronger every day. The future was no longer just a destination, but a process in which he would live every moment to the fullest. Each step had brought him not only physical progress, but also inner growth. He now knew that everything was not outside, but inside. He had realized that the real victory was not in the races or external awards, but in his own inner journey and in every moment he spent on this path. Discovering the limits of his inner power meant everything to him. As he thought more about his future, another thought occurred to Jack. What is success? Is success truly measured by how far you have come, or by how much inner change you have undergone? He now knew that the latter was much more important, because success was not about how you were seen in the eyes of others, but how you were seen through your own eyes. As his eyes disappeared over the horizon, Jack felt that he was now prepared for whatever the future might bring. He had made peace with the fears, doubts, and uncertainties of the past. Now, every day, he could consciously shape his life. His self-belief helped him understand how far he could go. No matter what the future might bring, Jack was not afraid of it, because now, with each step, he had found the true gain of his life, the power within him. He was determined to use this power to make a difference, not only in his own life, but in the lives of others.